the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, 3 times, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Now, I wanted to bring forth this passage because, like I asked the question, would we serve God, if there wasn't consequences, or we felt like we may not go to hell, or, any of those things. And here it is, Paul is saying in here, that basically he has this thorn. He has this, we never know, he never said what this thorn was. And everybody, and I believe it was good that he didn't say, because many people would have ran with it and said, well, he had that type of problem, an issue. But it's just been left open and in general, so that this thorn could be whatever it may be, whatever the issue may be in your life that you want to get rid of, that you're tired of, that is nagging you and is bothering you. And here it is, Paul was saying that he realizes that God is allowing this to happen. He said that Satan is buffing against him. In other words, that the door is open, that God is allowing the devil sometimes to brush against him, to try his faith. Just like God allowed the enemy to attack Job in his body, but told him you couldn't take his life. You can do anything else, but you can't touch his life. And many times we experience situations and problems, and it's to help us to stay humble. Because Paul was saying that, in other words, if I didn't have this issue, I would find myself boasting in myself, because I get great revelations from God on high. He came from being a soldier. He understood commandment. He understood authority. He could have easily taken the flesh and walked in that place and say, oh, they'll follow me. I can raise up an army. But there was an infliction that God would not remove from him. And he said, I prayed to the Lord. And he just said, my grace is sufficient. And saying that I will be glorified through this weakness. How many know that a lot of times when we find ourselves weak, we call on the name of Jesus more than what we do when we find ourselves strong? And it shouldn't be, because he's the same God that is there when we're weak, and it's the same God that's there when we're strong. But for some ungodly reason, we feel that we are the ones that have brought the strength to our own bodies. So we don't feel that we have to recognize God because we're doing this thing. It's not him that's doing it. So therefore, he has to say, okay, I may have to let the enemy buff you a little bit. I may have to allow the enemy to rub you, to touch you. Because if I do what needs to be done in your life, you're going to walk away from it. You're going to walk away from it. That's why I proposed the question of Would you still give God praise if you weren't going to go to hell, or didn't have to concern yourself with hell or any consequences for your actions? Jesus understood purpose. He knew why he came. He knew his mission on this earth. There was no mistake. He didn't wonder, why am I doing what I'm doing? Oh, I'm just here just to be here. I'm just this nice butterfly just flying through the earth. He knew that I came to save the world, and that the world would be redeemed and placed back into the rightful place with me. There was no mistake in his mind, no doubt in his mind who he was, why he came, why he was doing what he was doing. He understood that. And so many times, we don't know why. We do what we do. We don't really know our purpose in life. We get up and we're going to our POB or our workplace, our jobs. Why are you going? Do you ask yourself that question when you wake up? Why am I doing this? Why am I getting in my car and going down here every morning? Is it just so that I can have money to pay my bills? Or it's just a good social club that I can go and just chit chat. This is where I get to see my friends. What is the mission? What is your purpose?